Hi everyone, this is Killshot from 99 Dead, and this is The Walking Dead Season 9, spoilers, flashbacks, more. Take 2, hopefully we are good to go. Um, I'm going to jump right into it. I know you guys won't get a notification because this is kind of spontaneous get-together after the last one. So let's give it a little time, make sure that technically we're good on our end and YouTube is good on their end. And, I want to thank all of you guys for being patient and being here. Real quick, while we start this video and we're waiting for a few people to jump back into the stream, it appeared that Wilson was the winner of the caption contest we did this week. I'm going to go count all the votes and make sure that that is legit. And if so, Wilson, you and I have to figure out something to where I can give you rewards over in another country. Apparently, iTunes and Google, if I buy the card in the States, they don't translate very well. So you and I will talk offline. We'll figure out something to kind of get that done. And I think his caption was "Meet the Fockers." So hopefully you guys. What did Kills just do? Wilson, I'm putting the blame on you, but it was a very good caption. So I was going to bring that up in random things yesterday, and of course we didn't do the random things stream. So it looks like we got most of our crowd coming back in. I think Dark Stark said, "Is it too early to talk Like every time we get into a good topic, I almost feel like either YouTube or AMC is just kind of watching over our chat to make sure we don't go down. It's like when you say the word spoiler, I don't know, maybe I felt like we freaked some people out in some of our streams in the past. Do you guys kind of get that eerie feeling as well? Wilson, I will absolutely donate it. My big. I know a lot of people will be watching the playback, and it's like, Kills, this is a you're making it into a cat video. My passion is going to be the Humane Society going forward. So charities that I contribute to will be consolidated down to that one. I think they do a fantastic job. So let's jump into some of the topics. The stream has been good so far, but once I start talking about some things that were said, you never know. And Scott, we'll address some of your. I know Scott was super chatting on the other stream, and I took it offline. So Scott, if you can just shoot me a message or let me know a couple of topics we're about to get into, we'll definitely. Hey, I'm trying not to. I'm trying not to jinx it, but thank you. Appreciate all of you guys kind of jumping back over. Like I said, it's not going to be an hour-long stream tonight, so let's jump into some of the topics. We started out the other stream by really talking about the popularity of The Walking Dead and how some people are like, it's just doom and gloom. The show's not going to be on. They lost Rick. They can't do this. They can't do that. Still, worldwide, one of the most popular shows, one of the most sought-after shows. And not only that, have you guys ever, let me throw this out there, have you ever seen a commentary of a show that had more, I want to say this in a nice way, more like pop-up instant YouTubers? You know, I remember a time when there were about 3 or 4 of us, and then now there's a lot. And not just a lot of YouTubers talking about it. Some are good, some are better than others, but publications and, very few shows have a Talking Dead show. They have their own talk show afterwards. And then, you look at comicbook.com has made a living off The Walking Dead. You look at EW Weekly, TV Guide, Forbes, Christian Science. There's a ton of them that are out there. So, for a show that people want it to be around for a long time, I personally do because I love getting together and talking to each and every one of you. So, Steph the Cuervo Queen super chat. And hey, super chats are going through fine, Steph. Says, to the Army, just say no to the circle of death. Suck it, YouTube. If you, I guess I can say it. We'll see. Suck it, YouTube. There you go. Well, I had to say it. It was super chatted. All right. Now that we've got that established and we know how popular The Walking Dead really is, we're going to talk about one of the articles that came up this week from EW Weekly where they're interviewing Angela Kang. And some of this stuff that is coming up is stuff that we've talked about, which is good because I feel like there's some slight confirmation. Steph's not going to be happy about it, but many of you others will. So before we get into, I think, the big topic, and as I said, there's going to be some semi-spoilers here. Angela Kang really starts to elaborate a little bit. So the question from Entertainment Weekly was the death of Jesus in the finale. What are the repercussions of the Hilltop? And some of these questions, the interviewer actually went on and on and on and answered kind of the questions. So Angela Kang's response with Hilltop was, and this one is, Pete D, this is just for you. The people at Hilltop have really had to deal with a lot of instability in their leadership. But listen to this, and I quote, "Fortunately, there's Tara, who has been helping with Jesus. She finds herself thrust into the surprising leadership role, as well as you find other characters that are there, such as Daryl, who winds up there because he's a guardian hinter." All right, we got that. But I thought it was of importance to say, of all the things that happened to Jesus, her line was, "Fortunately, there's Tara." Now, I don't know if the mainstream fan club has the same sentiment that fortunately there's Tara. I think there's a lot of people that are, look, there are Tara fans, but there are a large contingency of fans that say, well, no, not fortunately there's Tara. We'd rather it be someone else. Now, we know that, or we think that because of that, that'll ultimately leave the Maggie storyline open. And I do think that if the Whispers get a strong upper hand, and which they will get the upper hand, but I mean a point of complete domination, then the path for Maggie to come back is definitely going to be something that's very well received. Because I wouldn't say Maggie, as far as hero popularity, where would you guys rate Maggie? Like, and this is including Rick. So if you've got Rick, Ezekiel, Maggie, Carol, Daryl, I think you could probably, before Maggie kind of went dark at Hilltop, I think you guys are low. Hold on. Some of you saying 8. Before Maggie went dark mode at Hilltop, come on, give me 7 characters that are stronger heroes than Maggie. I'm not a Maggie fan either, but I think you would be hard-pressed to find 8 or 9 people that would be more welcome to come back than Maggie. I would say 4 or 5. No, I'm not talking about Beth. Beth's dead. I'm talking about leadership and people that are currently on the show. I'm not talking about bringing dead people back. If the Whispers are completely dominating the group, I think there's people that are going to say, hey, Maggie's coming back. And not like, Maggie's coming back. What is she going to do? Maggie can hold her own. And look, I'm saying before she got super dark. Kimberly Smith, Negan is not in that category yet. Negan's not, and that's why I specified like with the hero type of thing. Negan still, look, he's going to become a hero. There's no doubt. But right now, he's still viewed as a villain. Uncle Creepy says dog. So look, Rick, obviously, Daryl. I would argue Maggie would be a just as well received as Ezekiel before she started getting crazy at the Hilltop. If she's had time to sort of be away and reflect and get her mojo back, I could see Maggie up there 4 or 5. And Daryl ain't a leader. So I see where some of you are, but I think 4 or 5. I'm down with her coming back. In addition to other people. That's not the sole point, though. I just kind of want to throw that out there. One of the other questions is flashbacks. So, yes, we have been talking about flashbacks. Are there going to be flashbacks? We know that okay, hold on. Before I get into flashbacks, I like that, Mystics. So Mystics saying, I'm 100% kills, don't hate me, but I'm the biggest fan of Maggie. I'm totally cool with that. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of Maggie, but I'm not like anti-Maggie, but I understand her role and her relevance and what they kind of did to her character. They made her a little bit too dark to sort of accelerate that storyline. But I think Lauren can be, look, if Negan can be a likable character, Maggie, who we used to like a lot more, can definitely get a pass. So, Steph, got my mods doing super chats tonight. What's up with that? Steph the Cuervo Queen, the only hero Negan should be as a Walker hero sandwich. See, she's got me at a disadvantage because she's super chatting it, so I have to, I'm contractually obligated. I do like the hero sandwich, though. I think that's well played. Well played. I think let's you know what? Let's do a super chat spotlight here. This is for the group. Steph is not allowed to answer this question. Not allowed. How many people here think that Steph will be a Negan fan by the middle of season 10? Let's see. You guys have seen the passion. You guys have seen the dedication. How many people think that Angela Kang is going to tell a story that is going to completely turn her around? Ron says, nope, too stubborn. Graylin says, no way. Nope. Lisa Halton says yes. Nova says yes. Tommy says sooner. All right, so I think it's about 40% say yes, still about 60 say no. So fair assessment. All right, so I am going to plant this small seed, and I'll jump back. Of what Angela Kang is saying about the Negan storyline. We've talked about this in a couple videos. As you guys know, we have some fun with it. So the question to Angela Kang is, what about Negan? And she says, well, we're going to find out what happened with Negan now that he's broken out of the jail cell. We get to tell a really, I think, pretty cool story with Negan as he goes on an adventure of his own. Look at, all right, the mods are going nuts tonight. Emmy is throwing down a gauntlet and super chatting that, yes, old Steph, you're going to change your mind. So the mods, Tommy and Emmy, are saying that they think they know her pretty well and that she'll flip. So, but look, I don't think it's going to happen tonight. So, but I do think little by little, they're going to tell a story it's going to wear on us. So here's what's important by that. So Negan is out there, and it looks like he's... I'm not even going to say conforming. I think he's transforming. Negan is out there trying to find himself. Now, I made a super bold prediction that Negan would sacrifice Lucille to help put some of his demons behind him. I also said the 7 years in the jail cell would change him, not because of the comics. And I also said, I'm going to use a word here that many of you might not be familiar with. Goes back to Jim Morrison. Goes back to a movie. This is almost like random things. Goes back to a wrestling movie called Vision Quest. So I think Negan, they're going to have him on his own little vision quest. And it's going to be that clarity. So this is the second half of my bold prediction that I made in a previous video. And this does tie in with what Angela Kang is saying. So that's interesting because they said in the comic the door was left open. This is what Angela Kang said exactly that has to do with Negan's story arc. Yes, it's not going to be exactly the story that was in the comics, but we thought that it would be really interesting to see. Negan has wanted out of the cell. He kind of got to a point where it was like, just kill me. So he was done. He had given up on life. Now, if he got to a point where he was ready to die, then abuse and being a tyrant is no longer in his cards. He's going to realize that that path only led him to wanting to die. So now he's out there on this fact-finding vision quest. Who am I going to become? And she tells us this. This is kind of a little semi-spoiler. Then we see him after the big time jump in a kind of semi-acceptance of his fate. But he always wanted something more. Now, what do you guys think that means? He said he was ready to die. Then he was in jail, and he accepted his fate, but he always wanted something more. But that's not all of it. Now I got Kel super chatting. Steph, when Negan saves Daryl, Judith, and the dog. Steph, all I can say is at some point, you're just going to have to bite the bullet like I did, and you're just going to have to embrace it. Because the writers are going to manipulate us so much that it just, I'm going to read it to you. This next part is really... All right. Stop, mods. Tommy Man Bun McCandless super chatting. So every mod has super chatted tonight. Is this not an awesome group of mods? Come on, guys. Everybody, pike that like button. And if you're watching a playback, give a quick 999 and show the support and love for the mods. They are great. So Tommy the Man Bun says, the mods, Army, Kang, and kills will make her a fan. One thing I know, I will say this about Steph, Tom. You can't make her. That's for sure. But I think the story will envelop her. And I just stopped trying to fight it. Like I was going to fight it for a while because I'm the same way. I remember the Glenn scene, and now I'm just at a point I figure the sooner I just accept it of that they're going to make Negan one of the heroes and really work with his charisma and his humor, there's really no choice. So the next line is pretty telling here. Steph, what do you think about this? Now, this question is for Steph, and then you guys can answer. So Angela Kang says, he feels like he can be more in this world, so he sets out to prove that's still possible. Listen, let me read this again. This is very powerful. So if there's any doubt what Angela Kang is going to do with his character, I'm going to read it one more time. And while Steph's responding to this, I want you guys to actually respond in and chime in as well, because I'm going to call on a few people. He feels like he can be more in this world, so he sets out to prove that's still possible. And what she said is this is done in a... Now, this is what is super cool about it. Because if you think about it, for him, so many years have passed, whereas people have been adapting and changing to the world. He's just been in a cell this whole time. He learned some pretty interesting things while he's out there. I think it's really great to see Jeffrey do this interesting, almost Western-esque journey that I think will be fun for the fans. So what they're going to do is they're going to throw him out on this Western fact-finding vision quest. What is my place in this world? How can I help people? How can I not hurt people? What is my proof? So, Steph, here's the thing. They're not going to stop. And by not stop, I mean the writers are going to give us good deed after good deed after good deed, where Negan is just like the Walking Dead's guardian angel until we're so sick of his good deeds that we have no choice but to say, wow, he's done more great stuff on the show than anybody else. I think we're going to just be saturated in good deeds. And why? Why is all of this necessary? Once again, it's the biggest paradox in the world. Maybe not in the world. It's the biggest paradox on The Walking Dead. And you guys have heard me reference it. So the reason they have to overkill Negan's niceties and all these great acts that he's going to do and all the people is because they made him kill Glenn, and they wrote it in the story, and they made him dance around in the darkness when he did it, and they should have never done it. The biggest mistake on The Walking Dead was not necessarily killing Glenn, it was the means of which they killed Glenn, and it made him too dark, too twisted, too fast, too permanent, and now we're going to get good deed after good deed of Jeffrey Dean Morgan showing he is the saint of The Walking Dead. And that's why I'm not... See, and I guess that's where Steph and I disagree a little bit, and probably where I disagree with several other people as well, not just Steph. Because I know a year and a half ago, I was throwing down the gauntlet and said, there's no way. There's no way Negan can ever be redeemed in my mind. And this is a term I don't use often with The Walking Dead because I've been accused of being one of the biggest fanboys on YouTube, is bad writing. It was bad writing to do the way they did it. So what got me to the point of where I just don't have this hatred for Negan is I realized the writers made a big mistake, and I had to kind of forget that they made the mistake, even though I saw it and I didn't like it. And boy, did they try to make up for it in a hurry. It was. It was so brutal, and it was so badly done that they had to lock him up for 7 years and go through a time skip and basically write him off the first half of the show in order to start to, I'm not going to say sympathy, but because there's still people who don't sympathize with Negan, but I'm going to say make him an empty shell. They kind of had to cleanse him and basically create a different person. So, we're going to jump into a couple more topics here, because we have a couple more. You guys thought that was the only little tidbits you were getting out of it. No, no, no. We got a few more. Let's jump into it. So I thought that was kind of the big spoiler news from Angela Kang. She gives us some good information. But what's important to that is I think that she kind of maybe not tells us, but she kind of shows, one, Negan's not out there recruiting. So if that's what you thought his motivation was, to build up another saviors group, he's not doing that. There still is the possibility he could infiltrate the Whispers and try to act like he's on the inside to help, if that's the only way he could help them. But it appears more that he's just, I don't know. I mean, let me just take some comments. So I know Lakeisha says, I know everyone was waiting for Negan, waiting to see him, but no one expected to have that effect. I think the universe just loved Glenn too much, and that they took Abraham too. So, and Lakeisha, I've been pretty vocal about that. Like, everybody knows Abraham's my favorite character. I had no problem with Abraham dying. I think that's the way it goes. I mean, it's a war. You know, we killed some of them, they killed some of ours. That's the way it went down. And Abraham was ready to go, and he was one of the toughest. No issue with that. Glenn was just torment. And I don't think you can reasonably say that there wasn't the risk of a few people dying because of the way they went about that outpost and what happened. So I got a super chat here. I got June super chatting. It says, hey Army, Steph, I feel you. I don't care for Negan, but his personality, even in the past, showed me he had possibilities of being a good guy. I expected The Walking Dead was going to do this. And June, you're definitely right that I think they were going to do it. I think it's going to be a benefit. I'm going to ask the question a different way, just to tie into June's super chat. So, if you were if you're a showrunner, I need everybody to put your writer caps on and your showrunner caps on. Everybody jump into this, because this is going to be one of those, the way we do it on 999. It's going to be one of those kill shot scruples questions. You're a showrunner, and you got this great actor, great guy. I mean, does anybody here think that Jeffrey Dean Morgan is a bad actor? Anybody just have like this personal animosity toward Jeffrey Dean Morgan? Or can we all kind of agree that he's phenomenal? Right? He's great. He's a great actor. All right. So you're a showrunner. And you have a couple of options here. You have the option of killing off. Now, I want you to think business now. Think business with me. You have the option of killing off this evil entity, which most people remember as he just slayed Glenn and danced over his dead body. That's one story. But you have this actor who has a ton of potential. Or you have this other option, and this option is that you know if it's done right. Now, that's the big question here. If it's done right, and you can get the audience to support this Negan character, and you got this great actor that people will gravitate around and has so much charisma, from a money-making standpoint. And then the third option would be just keep him evil, but you don't really need to keep him evil anymore because that doesn't fit with the story. So we can eliminate that. So you got option A, kill him off because you don't like the character of Negan. Or you got option B, you find a way to sort of twist the character around to get him where people are every week talking about, oh, that was so funny. Did you hear what Negan said? Oh, that was great. Because half of what he said in his sarcasm and clever nature was not appreciated because people still had so much bitterness and animosity toward his character. So if you can get that to where there's a villain more evil than Negan, and then you can throw in his cheesy one-liners and sometimes clever nature, that's water cooler talk there. Then you'll be kind of embracing Neganisms the same way you used to embrace Abeisms. And there were moments that even though he was completely hated, that some of his lines actually got through to people. Like, I hate that. That was a little funny. So, anyway, it was a long version of the question. So, if you were a showrunner, what are you going to do with him? I don't disagree with anything that they're doing right now, except I think they had to add a little bit more airtime to the story, and they had to overdo it just a little bit. But I'm keeping him. I'm going with B, because I think in a season or so, this guy can be, his acting skills are phenomenal. His character has potential. He's not quite the show star that Rick is, but he's not quite the occasional one-liner that Abraham was. So he's definitely a stronger character than Abe. Not quite the fanfare of Daryl yet, but I think there's the possibility of them. I think they're doing it right. And I'm going to give you an example. So, how many people here hated Father G when you found out he locked all those people in the church? how many people didn't trust Father G, maybe didn't quite hate him, but when he told Deanna that this group could not be trusted? Right? So, how many people started to warm up to Father G a little bit after Negan was introduced and you saw Father G was willing to lie about Maggie being dead? They started to build a little bit of trust. And then how many people started to warm up to Father G when him and Spencer were out in the car and he left? So my point is, in most cases with the show, we have those characters that we get on a roller coaster. And I think that's a real minor example. I think when you get characters that are very polarizing, it happens much, much faster. So, for example, I have not always been a fan of Carol. Right? Dark Stark, I'm right there with you. I'm not, in the I wanted Carol to die for 3 years. But let me tell you, there were some things about Carol that I did not like. And then there were some things I liked. And there were some things I didn't like, and there were some things I liked. So I went back and forth on Carol. And I think that's kind of the real emotion on the show. There's very few characters that I think I get so firmly just ingrained in that I hated you from day one, and I never, I treat it like real relationships. There's real relationships. There's days that, there's people you like more than you like them other days. Yeah, I'm not going to say it's a flaw. It's just, it's the way some people are. You could say that my viewpoint of shifting stances on characters is flawed, but then I could call some of you out that say, well, I love this person. And then my question is, well, have you always loved this person? And some people would just tokenly say, yes, I have. I've always loved them. It didn't matter what they do. But at the same time, I could probably bring up specific examples of almost every character where we've had issues with multiple characters. Maggie's in that situation right now. There was a time, let me say this, okay? I got to speak directly to a few of you, because you're not going to believe me. I could say it over and over again. There was a time Maggie was more loved and more liked than Carol. Now, some hardcore Carol fans ain't going to want to hear that, but that's the truth. There was a time Maggie was a bigger star than Carol. But our viewpoint of Maggie has changed. And our viewpoint of Carol has changed. So, it happens. If Carol gets dementia tomorrow and assassinates Daryl because she thinks that he's the governor, your viewpoint of Carol's going to change. I don't know any other way to say it. You guys aren't going to say, oh, Carol's great, but she just killed Daryl mistakenly. That's the beauty of it. So I do think you need a little kind of flexibility in just pouring your heart out to specific characters. Now, I'm not saying that Judy was ever hated, but I will use the word that a lot of people have said, Judith is a burden. Where's Judith? Who's watching Judith? They need to get rid of the kids on the show. I mean, many of you in this stream have said that. But then all of a sudden, you got Judy out there with a sheriff's hat, holding the python, and it's like, oh, she's the greatest thing in the world. She's awesome. She's a badass. But you guys were hoping little 3-year-old Judith would get devoured by walkers a season ago. Some people, not everybody. So just go with the flow. I mean, the story is meant to leave a little bit of gray area, but at the same time, some of the extremes are still a little bit baffling to me. Anybody here like Morgan on Fear the Walking Dead? How many Morgan fans do we have out there? Most, right? This guy's named Walking Dead fan and doesn't like Morgan. Hold on now. How can you be a Walking Dead fan and not like Morgan? But anyway, I'm just kind of pointing out. Is there anybody that was just annoyed at the all life is precious thing and that Morgan didn't want to kill anybody? Like that whole ordeal? I've been back and forth on Morgan probably more than any other characters out there. But now I kind of like him. But boy, there was a time where I was like, this is... But you know what? As soon as Morgan said, I don't die, boy, people loved him. That was the punchline. Well, not a punchline. That was his tagline. That was what he was known for. We're doing streams, and, all people were typing in the stream was, oh, Morgan ain't going to die. I don't die. I don't die. And they couldn't stop saying it because, then he had something he was known for. Where a couple years earlier, it was just, oh my God, they need to kill this character off. This whole all life is precious thing. He's going to get people killed. It's fair. So we're going to do a quick pulse survey, and then we'll wind this thing down a little bit. Out of curiosity, the current composition of the show, what you know about Season 9. I'm talking about people that are on the show in Season 9. If you had to pick one character that you just, for whatever reason, just don't like, type it in there right now. I want to kind of see, where the audience is, where's the base in. So if you got to pick one character on the show that you just don't like, we got Father G, we got Tara, we got Enid, Father G, Henry, Tara, Enid, Tara. Lakeisha says Maggie, Father G. I find it extremely, I find it just a little funny that Steph said Father G and not Negan. Now, last time I checked, Father G didn't beat down Glenn with a baseball bat and dance. So I think the point that you guys are making about Steph coming around, I think it's already starting to get there. But a lot of Tara, a lot of people just don't like her arc at this point. But Angela Kang said, lucky the Hilltop has Tara. Hey, I will say this about Father G and about Seth Gilliam and Ross Marquand. I mean, Aaron and Father G have both given personal shout-outs to the 999 Army. Negan has not yet. So those two guys are really, really high on my list. All right, everybody. Just wanted to do a stream tonight, get everybody together. Thanks so much for being patient and jumping back over here with the technical difficulties a little bit earlier. You guys are phenomenal. We're going to be back here again tomorrow night. We'll follow up on some additional Walking Dead topics. Like I said, wanted to run this a little bit shorter stream, so you guys are great. Good, healthy debate. We're going to get there. We've got just over 2 weeks left. Anybody excited that The Walking Dead's like 2.5 weeks away? So do me a favor. Pike that like button. And if you're super, super excited to get back to our regularly scheduled weekly chats, dissection, dialogue, all of the above with The Walking Dead, man, we are getting super, super close, right around the corner. Hey, I know it's been a while, but I'll tell you, during the off season, you guys have been great. We've had some really good, healthy dialogue, good conversation, and it does definitely make the time go a little bit quicker. With random things, now we got the passage, just so many good topics to talk about, and just a phenomenal group of people to get together and talk about it. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to do a few shout-outs to everybody. So first, I'm going to start out with Patreons up in the top left-hand corner. Great group of supporters. Support this channel through a third-party website. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon, there is a link down below. Sponsors in the top right-hand corner. The moderators, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kells. Phenomenal job, as they always do. We've got all the super chatters tonight, and especially tonight was like a mod super chat special. So thank you so much for the moderators as well. And of course, you guys can see all the 999 people out there, the Army, JB, Samantha Coombs, Kay Smith, Negan Sandwich, Peter Washington, Sheila Mack, Bumblebee Brown, Kevin Stover, thank you so much, Skull Crusher 69, Ron Burgundy Moore, Jennifer Flaherty, Uncle Creepy, Tammy Hill, Maria Favada, Dana Finkler. We got a lot of new people in the stream tonight too. So you guys that are brand new, make sure you subscribe. Get back here, hang out with us. Freeland25, hey, good to see you again, Freeland too. Bryn Gilligan, Lakeisha. Wow, what an awesome group. We got a packed house tonight. Jason the Mixologist, thank you. Walking Dead Nerd, Sam B, Heather Moore, Heart of Nixie, Deborah C, June Smith. Really quickly, Julia Drums, if you guys, if this is your, maybe first, second, or third stream, say you've been here for about a month, do me a favor, give me a quick, 444, just a different code. So I can give you guys because I see the Underdog Mr. Williams. That's a brand new name. I'm seeing a lot of new names that are getting ready for Walking Dead. So if you've only been here for like 2 or 3 live streams, Kelly Golan's in here, thank you. Just give me a quick 444. And everybody here, to all the new folks, just do me a favor, make them feel welcome. And I know we got some people kind of in the background that they're afraid to chat. Hey, hopefully you guys, you get where you're not afraid to chat. This is not a troll channel. This is a channel where people get together and just hang out. So you shouldn't have to worry about anything. But Jason Craig, barely new. Thank you, Jason. Cheesing for no reason. Good to see you. Bevy Forever. Thank you so much. As I said, the last couple streams, I'm just starting to see a lot of new faces. And it's just phenomenal. And many of you that haven't typed or chatted, then just, like I said, feel comfortable, get your thoughts included. I try to call on as many people as we possibly can, and get your comments permanently included in this video. Thanks, everybody. I will see everybody tomorrow night at 9:30. Also, we do have, you guys can see up toward the top right-hand corner, it says The Walking Dead 999 Army. There's a link down below to our Facebook fan page. We have a calendar based on that. Just run through really quickly throughout the week. We stream starting on Sunday at noon, and also Sunday at 8 o'clock at night. We do a Walking Dead countdown. Monday night at 8 o'clock, we do a Passage countdown, and then at 10:10, we do a Passage reaction video. When Walking Dead's in season, we'll actually do a Walking Dead reaction video afterwards. Sunday's a busy day. Tuesday, on our sister channel, the 999 Army, that was created for each and every one of you, we do a stream called Random Things. It's just whatever topic. We get together and just sort of hang out. Wednesday night, we do Walking Dead channel and Walking Dead chat on this channel, and Thursday night, the same. Most of the time, we take Fridays off and just kind of hang out, and we're back on Saturday morning for all of our international audience. So you guys know it's a fairly busy week. Thank you so much. Appreciate everybody being here, and I will see you all right here at 9:30 tomorrow night. Have a good night. Peace.